Back he was working on it.
Oh, okay, he was. Okay, well, he's gonna have to finish it. That's just weird.
Just asked him, can I get my new ones, my emails? He said, yeah.
Okay,
That's all the way.
okay. So he may know how to fix that.
Huh?
Did you put this candy?
He was first. And I didn't know if you did because I was gonna eat some, so I didn't trust it. So, right. Garbage over here, Hershey.
Where is it?
Right by me.
Nothing. Don't come directly to my hand if I don't know who gave it to me.
I see it. I did. Not to that. Yeah.
Oh, somebody wants to talk to me. I don't want to talk.
That was coming. Hello. That's what I'm trying to say. Hello.
I gotta leave one phone call.
Oh, it's just right. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just like that. Oh, they got one.
Did you get these resolutions in email?
I got one.
Okay, it's two of them.
Okay, let me see. Can I take a
It's
look?
two, yeah.
I see the one. Yeah, the one. Yeah, the one is.
Extras,
I threw it.
Right.
Yeah.
You, my emails is just 1024, so you know I didn't get it. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, because the form is fine, the same as this.
Right.
I'm about to find it. I'm trying to find my way. Y'all heard me ask that.
Right. And then, for the study session, Mr. Contis, we had him at the agenda.
Okay.
I was gonna have him just come March,
Okay.
so he could spend more time.
Okay.
So is this gonna be the second meeting in March?
Okay.
Study session, 16th, 17th?
Okay.
Yeah, I've already got him booked to come back
Okay.
March 17th, because you had like
So-
5 things on there.
Okay. So we'll hold it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're at March 17th.
Okay. As long as it happens by March the 5th.
Okay.
Let the council president know that we need to ask it on the workshop. So we can stop.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You just laughing.
Didn't I give you one, Miss?
I'm about to check. No, you did not, because I'm empty.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. What's your name?
What's my name?
I don't know. What's your name? What's your name? What?
Right there.
It's a rule, my question. Oh. Today, may not.
Mr. Burgess got these.
No.
For the memory lapse.
No, I did these.
Say no.
You got the money.
Huh?
So did
Yeah.
you give Mr. Burgess a copy?
You know what, I did not, but we can make a copy for him if he needs one.
Who disperses the money?
We're gonna bring his
I don't have a watch, so you got to keep me up on the time. I mean, my phone, both of them died.
back from the table. And then we'll discuss all three of them. Yeah.
Both of my phones died. I came straight from Bible study, so I ain't bringing the charge.
5:36.
Oh, my apologies. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My apologies. Both of my phones died. I came straight from Bible study. I would like to call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Councilman
Councilman Ashafi,
Present.
Councilwoman Martin,
Here.
Councilwoman Manica,
Here.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Present.
Council President Thomas.
Excuse. And this is just for attendance purposes only. We will not be voting, and this is the workshop. Okay. First item on the agenda is the planning department. And to my constituents, how do you want to proceed? You have questions to ask?
I don't know if anyone else have questions,
Mhm.
but maybe if he just presents, but I don't know if he knows what he's presenting.
Right.
I'm for real, no, seriously.
No,
Do
totally
you
fine.
know what you're presenting or no?
I just have some general talking points,
Okay.
just kind of reiterating kind of what we're doing here at McKenna with the planning department and just some kind of general updates.
I grow trees.
I will make sure you
Thank
have
you.
something for you, yes. So, I mean, I can do that. And then if you have any questions, I can kind of respond to questions
Okay.
as you have them. So Donovan Smith, I'm with McKinnon Associates. I serve as the community manager through McKenna for Highland Park, but more directly through our engagement, I serve as the zoning administrator for your planning department. And we've been doing so since November 1 of 2024. In addition to our planning services, we provide the city, we also provide building services. Specifically as it relates to building, we process all the manners of permits, building permits, electrical, mechanical, there's one more, plumbing, as well as rental registrations and inspections. And then for the planning department, we facilitate generally all the planning and zoning responsibilities as prescribed to the city by the zoning ordinance. So we process and administer all site plan applications, special land uses, variances, zoning board of appeals, zoning compliance, and sign applications and sign reviews. So kind of on the daily basis for that department, those applications that come in, we process them, complete the reviews, and then we give those back out to the applicants. And then kind of in addition to, we have a few other special projects. The Treasury gave $140,000 to the city, so we are administrating those special projects. So those include the economic development strategy, which is a redevelopment ready communities program. That activity, we are working with the city, and there will be opportunity to engage with the council directly in that process, where we'll be establishing that kind of long range partnership vision with the city and its strategic partners, as well as the kind of redevelopment opportunities. So there will be, because we did hear interest that there was a desire to have some kind of town hall or community engagement. So we are folding that into that process. So I would say within the next month or so, you can expect to start to hear some dates on when we might start looking to have something like that. I will probably come to you personally and ask for a date on when we could engage the council on that workshop. We're also working on the capital improvements plan. Again, that's another redevelopment ready program. It was the first week of February where we called all the department heads in the city so we can start to coordinate the yearly planning of the capital improvement projects, as well as reviewing the process. We actually held a training where Michigan Association of Planning staff came down from Lansing and they provided that training to all the staff. So we are actively working on that, as well as the MISTA grant to update the zoning ordinance. We are actively doing our preliminary zoning diagnostic on that ordinance. So we'll start to have some responses and analysis on what we're finding in that ordinance. I've been working closely over the past 2-3 months with the city's ordinance, and it's a fun document. it's a fun document, but it does have a lot of opportunity for improvement.
Oh, yeah.
And when you look at it, things start to make sense, and it starts to just show areas where we can really start to bolster it and provide some updates, because it is, I think it's a 2011 ordinance. And even some content in that ordinance is even older than that.
Yes.
So
That being said, it's sections missing.
Yes. So we're going through the full ordinance as well as the code that was adopted, I think around 614, that there's a version of that online. So we're looking at taking out the portions from the online version, putting it in the proper zoning ordinance and making some corrections, and council is very involved in that process. So you will get a formal presentation. You'll get a update on kind of where we are and what we need to do as we go through that update.
And I have a question because when I first got that big, huge binder, I sat down with the charter. And some of the stuff in the charter correlates with that. Is that still?
Yes. So there are aspects of the charter that are reflected in your muni code. And then there are some aspects of your muni code that are reflected in your zoning ordinance.
Okay.
And what we're trying to do is just make sure everything kind of aligns horizontally, and it's referencing the proper sections.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's easy to kind of read and access.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another thing that I would like you to take a look into on zoning as well is the zoning for these commercial and industrial buildings. You know, there's a problem in this city, okay? There's no inspections happening for these buildings. Okay, they're not allowed, well, I should say they're not required to renew their their occupancy permits should be renewed every year. And there should be random inspections so that we know that these buildings that look abandoned but are clearly operating are not harboring or storing things that are hazardous and dangerous to the community. And those inspections need to be random. Okay. But every building, every commercial and industrial building within the city of Highland Park needs to be inspected on a yearly basis, and that inspection needs to be random. We don't know what they're doing in these buildings. Okay, so that's something that needs to be addressed, because they could be doing anything, they could be storing anything. I give you a prime example. Everyone here remembers when the Highland building burned on Hamilton, right? They were storing all kinds of chemicals and things in that building that they shouldn't have been storing. And when all of that went up in flames and burned, the entire area where you actually live at, Miss Martin, they had to evacuate everybody from.
Thank you, sir. Give them the address.
Not exactly what building you in. I'm just saying.
Pictures of the kids.
I'm saying in that area, they had to evacuate every resident in that area until they doused that fire. I mean, the fumes were horrible.
Yeah.
I lived all the way on Pilgrim, and I could smell that stuff in my lungs on Pilgrim in Hamilton. And you know, that's a little bit up the street from the Hill building. Okay, so we need to know what they're doing in these buildings, and if they're doing things according to law, they should not be storing hazardous materials in this city without the proper paperwork and the proper permission to do so. Okay, so we need to do random building inspections to make sure that these things are not happening. You know, and I jotted down a few notes here. I made some copies here for you.
Oh,
These are for you. I got mine.
you made my life easy. Thank you.
So yeah, you know what I'm saying? We have to ensure the safety of the residents in these buildings, because when the Hill building burned, it did a lot of damage. There was a lot of people injured. A lot of problems came out of that building because they were storing things there that shouldn't have been stored there. Okay. So we need to be on top of that, okay? And if that means that we need to reach back into zoning and adjust that zoning, then we need to adjust that zoning. And zoning is under the purview of council, okay? The zoning board and the zoning board of appeals belongs to this council, okay? We appoint and we unappoint, okay? So we need to go through that zoning to make sure that that's up to date as well.
Okay.
Okay?
Not a problem. Thank you.
So that is part of the zoning that you're already doing, though, right?
Yeah.
It's among.
Mhm.
Yeah. it's-
Yeah. Yeah.
So what does that look like, though, when we say inspect? You're, that more manpower, is that you, is that who you already
So,
have?
yeah, so specifically, that relates to the building department. The building department, they're the ones responsible for doing the inspections in combination with the business license process. And that belongs to, I believe, the treasurer. I think they handle business licenses.
No, clerk handles business.
The clerk, correct, the clerk. Between those two, those are departments that handle the business license inspections, and these would be for buildings that are currently operating that have licenses. And then the actual formal inspection processes happen at the building department.
Now, something else is in those notes as well. We need to have legal to look into, is it allowable for the city, for somebody that's operating in a commercial or an industrial building, if they don't have their business licenses, okay, so there used to be a policy here. I don't know if it's still here or not, but if you didn't have a business license for a commercial or industrial building, you weren't allowed to have water service here in the city of Highland Park without that business license. I need to know if that rule still stands and is it being enforced?
Okay, yeah, I'll look into that for you,
Okay.
Councilman.
Okay, because that's something as well. And I give a reason or example of that. When we first came in, when this council first got on the city council, there was an ongoing legal battle for the church that's right there on the corner of Manchester and Hamilton. Y'all remember we ended up settling that about $300,000 for that illegal raid they had, but nobody talked or mentioned the fact that they had dug up the basement floor and tapped into the city line, and they were stealing water from us for years to grow their illegal product in which they were growing. So they got away with that. We don't want to have that happen again. Okay, so that's another thing about having proper inspections. Okay, and you know, I would encourage you to use the fire department in this field here, because they will come in handy in these inspections as well too. Okay, we have to be ensured that the people who are operating in these buildings are, one, not storing dangerous materials and chemicals that they should be storing in a building, and two, the most important here, okay, everybody knows how sacred the word water is here in the city of Highland Park. We have to ensure that we are not being stolen from on water, okay? Because I do believe that the rule is in the fact that if you don't have a business license, you can't get water in a commercial or an industrial building, but you're going to double check that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look
Okay,
into
what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah, the question is, how do you enforce a business license, and what
Right.
options does the city have to
Exactly.
enforce
You know what I'm
compliance?
saying? And I think that's where the stealing is coming in at, because they can't get you to come out illegally and correctly turn on the water because they don't qualify to have it turned on. So they're stealing water from us, which comes back to the inspections. If we had proper yearly inspections, random inspections, where nobody can prepare for those inspections, we'll cut down on a lot of theft here in the city of Highland Park, and we'll catch things that are a problem before they become a problem.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes.
I know that downstairs in our lobby, there's this wall thing with a lot of slots, and you can pick up different permits and everything like that. My question is, can you put together a packet for, say, developers that want to come in and like to present their proposal? So everything could just be in one package, so they ain't got to go pull this from there and pull that from there and that from there. And can you give us a timeline, include a timeline in that, like from table to shovel?
So there is currently a site plan packet that highlights the site plan process and all the requirements. That's online today. And it includes
Is that under CD? Where?
It's under planning and zoning. It's
Planning
called
and
the
zoning.
site plan packet.
Okay.
It includes the process, the flow chart that we updated, all the fees, and then all the application, and then the site plan checklist. So all that information initially that a developer or anyone that wants to do a project in the city needs, that is updated and on the website.
Okay, so in regards to we approve it, do they have a timeline like from, like when we approve it till they start digging in? Is that included?
That is, it's in the ordinance.
Okay.
From a planning commission approval
Okay.
for site plan approval, you have 1 year,
Okay,
and that's pretty standard.
okay,
Before it has to go back to the planning commission for reissuance of site plan.
okay, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody have any more questions for Mr.?
Yeah, I do. I have some questions.
Yes.
You were talking about, doing inspections. Is that gonna be a committee, a group of people? Like what, how is that going to, are you gonna do it? How are you guys gonna randomly choose?
So the inspections, the process as it is today is they're held by the building inspector, which is Don.
Is it Tony?
Don, yeah, his name is Don.
He's new, right?
He's been here since November 1. So he's been here the whole time.
Since November?
November 1. That's when we started our contract. We've only had the one inspector
Yeah, we say November one.
of 2024. That's when we
Oh, okay.
started
I
doing.
thought you were talking about 2001.
Yeah, November.
So he is kind of fairly new, November.
Yeah. Well, he new here,
But
yes.
First, when you say November one.
Yes, November 1st. I apologize. Yep. So that is our building inspector, and he does all the building permit inspections and rental inspections. Those happen today. As it relates to the process that Councilman brought up, that's a different process that we don't currently do specific to random inspections. We don't have a process for random inspections. So I don't have a particular answer for that exact question.
So how is Don doing, how do you guys choose? Do you guys go down the street? How do you guys choose?
So there,
Perhaps Don,
a new rental application gets an inspection. When a rental is due for its annual update, that warrants a new inspection. So those they're brought to us. We have not actively gone out and pursued inspections yet. That's something that we're teeing up.
so the current business or that's been currently functioning before Don got here, you guys are not inspecting those.
Not until their reinspection has come up.
How about that, Sandy?
I believe that's annual. I believe it's connected to your business license. Yep. So that happens.
List is printed from the clerk.
The building department generates a list, and then that is the reinspection list. So then we would have staff call those individuals and let them know it's time for your reinspection. You're at month 11 out of 12, and then we issue a letter, and then they'll come back and reapply for their annual business license of renewal. It's a renewal process.
My last question. You can go. I'm sorry, Commissioner. The right-of-way permit, is that your department?
That is engineer,
Engineer?
DPW, right
Thank
away.
you very much.
Yes.
Okay.
Question
Yes.
about occupancy permits. Is that a yearly renewal? It should be, but it's a question I want to know.
I'm speaking on building department things, so I'm just a little caution.
The attorney say he thinks it's every 3 years, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
it's,
here's why I asked that question. Because I had this pulled today, the occupancy certificate for 55 Oakland. It's 2025. This was last done in 21. And they're up and operating without an occupancy permit.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of places that are operating.
Okay, I need you to make this a priority.
so either I can give me 2 minutes or we can just follow up.
Okay?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
What is, I'm just curious, what is on 55? Did you say Oakman or Oakland?
When did it expire?
Okay.
Her sheet.
That's all right, I know.
According to this one here, it was renewed 4/28/21. That's the last time it was renewed. And if it's every 3 years, they are well past that time frame.
I'm sure there's plenty of places.
Yeah.
That's there.
Yeah. Again, this goes back to us doing our due diligence. If it requires a little bit more manpower than council needs to possibly try to provide that manpower for them, but we need to get this under control. There's no way the development or the city is going to move forward if everybody is just allowed to do what they want to do as if this is the wild, wild west.
No, I
And they're
agree,
not in
Councilman. It's,
compliance.
Right.
you know, it's up to council to
Right.
allocate the proper resources to be able to handle it, because there's all sorts of things that code enforcement can do in Highland Park with respect to business licenses, with
Right.
respect to certificates of occupancy. I've had conversations with the administration about
Right.
that. So, yeah, I agree. It's
Right.
something that could be moved forward. I know before we came on board, the previous city attorney had a number of properties in
Yeah.
circuit court that he was grappling with. And
Yeah.
so it is going to be an area of emphasis for us.
And
It's just because I can tell you now that once our ordinances are in order, it's going to make this process a lot easier. Okay, it gives us the necessary backbone and the necessary teeth to follow through without any further or future litigation.
Right,
So-
and furthermore, once certain properties, maybe high profile properties are educated that they have to comply with the city ordinances, then it'll be a lot easier for the rest of them too, because
Exactly.
it's kind of an example
Exactly.
for the other
Exactly.
businesses.
While we're
Again,
on
we just
that,
closing the door on the foolishness. We
well,
just tighten the noose. That's all.
I agree.
on that though, I would like for you to think about all the things that they're asking and prioritize. What is, and we as well, what is the priority list? Because we're giving this department and a new department in planning service here, a lot of things. We're saying, hey, I need you to go do this. We need you to go do this.
No,
Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what's the priority first? So I know that he's working on an ordinance. So definitely, I think clearing that up and getting that all set is probably the first thing on the list, because I come to you, Ms. Martin, and I'm trying to get you on a planning. Sometimes I know your name, girl. And then that ordinance has not been revised, updated, or even implemented. Maybe we don't even have that ordinance just now, you know? I know we still have a horse and buggy ordinance. So,
That's not putting your cart before your horse.
so I think that we need to do that part first. The second thing is, I don't mind, because I have a list of addresses myself, Mr. Ashafi. But when we come and we say, hey, I need you, this building right here, this person or this company right here, we should make sure that we have more than one in the event that it doesn't look like you're singling out or looking out.
No.
I mean, you
No.
can tell him, you know,
Okay.
hey, this is maybe top priority, but I'm sure along with 55, I can give him, and probably already has, give him some off of Victor, off of Oakland, off of Manchester, off of Third and Pickens. I can go to Midland. So